Welcome to the Karnage Chronicles. This is a recent alpha update, which is the one after the multiplayer expansion, if you are familiar with the game. There is new content. There used to be only 3 dungeons in this game as part of the alpha test. We had the Wyvern Scale Cavern, we have the Caverns of Decay, which is new, and the Eye of the Dwarves, which is the same as last time, except for it has new monsters. And this one also has some changes to monsters. I have played probably about 7 dungeon runs in this game and tried the new content at least 4 times. It is a great game. It's a dungeon crawler. It has a warrior class and an archer class currently. They are working on cleric and mage, trying to balance them out and develop all the gear and mechanics for it. I think it's going to be a fantastic dungeon crawling game with all the balanced classes. I'm a old World of Warcraft and EverQuest player myself. Played Dungeons and Dragons. I really relish these types of games, and I think this one is one of the best representations of this sort of game that I've ever seen. We will explore the dungeons in a moment. I'm going to show you the base of operations from which you start the game. It's very simple once you get into a workflow of going in the dungeon and coming back out here. I'm going to use the teleport mechanic for now. I find that using the standard motion mechanic makes me kind of nauseous, so please forgive me for my imbalance. So we're going to teleport around, and when I come from the dungeons, that's the shimmers back that way. There's a room up here where I store all of my stuff. You'll see the clutter in my room because I've been farming a lot of stuff and saving it for friends and for myself. I'm going to go over here and pick up an item by touching it. It's one of the things I do. I like to farm lots of objects and throw them all over my bedroom just because it's fun. Over there are some trophies of the bosses that I've defeated. I'm going to not spoil too much by going any closer. I'm going to look around and see if there's anything I want to take with me from this adventure. I will point out a few things. We have potions on the floor. We have crossbow. We have a helmet. We have a chest piece. There's scrolls of paper. There's food. More potions. Over this way you'll see I have necklaces and rings sprawled about. This is all random junk. I'm going to take this to sell just so I can demonstrate how the store works. Alright, picked up all that. Let's grab that fish. I also probably want that beer. Nah. Right. But I will grab this thing here because I know I got to sell it. And I think that's it for this room for now. When you first start the game, you come in here, there's a few bits of free cash and equipment. It's very helpful to you. So, we are going into the collector's room. This is the collector. The collector is, for the start of the game, your quest giver for the first dungeon and some elements of the third dungeon. I don't think he does any content right now for the
luminescent fungi that is scattered across these caves?
No.
I've never seen those before.
Neither have I, but I was talking. Why'd you interrupt me? I'm just kidding. The second dungeon was once called the Crystal Mines or Crystal Caverns, I believe. There was content in there, I believe, that was tied to his quest. It was yanked and is being revamped, and they replaced it with the Caverns of Decay. There's a quest giver at the start of that dungeon that just kind of runs it from the inside. When you start the game initially and create a character, you come from this direction. I'm not going to cover that content. It's pretty simple, and it's kind of a nice exploratory way of learning how to use the weapons and use the interface.
I loathe this place.
Yeah, I'm starting to too.
Rust.
Alright, this is the shop. This is the imp that runs the shop. He just kind of talks and waves at you. Before we shop, I'm going to show you the interface. I'm going to be very quick about this because I can ramble forever about it if I am given the chance. Alright, I've got 2 hands. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and another 7 over here. Those are all just bag space and inventory. In the middle, oh, I forgot one. We have quick access items. These are potions that you can grab. If I bring it up to my face and try drinking it, it will apply the effect instantly. The reason it's called quick is because if I close all this down, it's down just below my visual peripheral, and I can access them very quickly. They also don't interact the same way as the other things in my inventory, so if I want to sell this piece of bread, I grab it and sell it. And if I tried to do that with this, the sell option would not be there until I put it in my bag, and then I can sell it, which I'm not going to right now. Also, mentioning the sell option, you see me pick stuff up. If I wanted to drop stuff when I'm not in the store, instead of sell, it has drop. So I can drop it and pick it up all day long if I want to. And if I want to buy something, like this apple, I grab it off the table, and that sell option is now converted to a buy option. And I buy it, and I sell it. So we have the bag space, we have the quick access items. Now we're going to talk about weapon loadouts. So there's a left and a right hand. The first two here are the left and right hand, so you'll see how these match here. If I scroll to the right with one of my controllers, I have my two hands. If I scroll to the right again, I've got that weapon and this shield. So you can see the matchups. I tend to keep my crossbow here, but I want to use my two hands for the explanation for gestures and not distract waving a big frickin' thing around. Then you have all the body armor and rings and jewelry that you have. 2 gloves, a chest piece, 2 rings, a necklace, and a helmet. That is what I'm wearing. I could swap out new gear as I upgrade it. At some point they'll probably have cosmetic gear that looks funny. People will wear it just for the looks. We'll see how that goes. And right now that I'm in the store, I don't need to access that section, and I don't need to access that section. And these will stay up when my bag space is open, so I can't help that. But I'm going to do a lot of selling at the moment. Empty some bag space. This is a nice little... I think it's just an expensive item. Yeah. Sell some cheese. We have a teleport scroll. I'm going to show you how that works in 2 seconds. Alright, everything else here I'm pretty happy with the way it is. And I will continue with the explanation. So, we are in the shop. I've shown you how to buy something. There is a table of food that helps you heal. It gets better when you pick up better stuff in the dungeon. This stuff's pretty low grade. Here they have additional bag space coming soon. They have a heart, which I have one right here. We'll use it to reset a dungeon by sacrificing it. It's a bit creepy, but kind of cool. I'll demonstrate that very shortly. We have a necklace that does poison resist. We have a ring that increases your critical hit chance, which is a random chance for you to do extra damage. Those are the scrolls for the town. We have a critical chance potion, a healing potion, fire breathing potion, a healing potion that increases your damage by 40% for 5 minutes. That's one of my favorite potions that you can use. If you look up, you see the word warrior. We go into the warrior shop. There's a range of weapons with increasing price and increasing damage. Again, very quickly you will get better weapons in the dungeon, so don't go crazy trying to spend all your money on too much of this. Decent armor, decent shield. More expensive shield, but no additional change to your stats as far as I can tell. It doesn't look any bigger, so I wouldn't invest your money in that. A good shield will drop later on that just looks cool, but it's there. Expensive armor that does a lot of nice stat increase. And warriors tend to use crossbow bolts. They can't buy or equip the... Well, no, they can... I think they can equip bow and arrows, but they tend to use crossbow bolts. I'll figure out more about that later. Crossbow bolts, how they work. You crank them, in this case, till all the lights light up, and you can shoot. This is a really nice one that I got from the new expansion. It has 7 bolts. I have not experienced more than 5 bolts up until this point, and the damage it does is quite insane. I am happy with that crossbow. Whereas a bow and arrow is a pull and draw. I can probably demonstrate that in a moment when I teleport back to my bedroom. We've got 3 bows, again, similar gear. Both warriors and archers seem to have the same quality gear. And what I mean by that is this game is very simple mechanics right now. If you've played any other MMO, World of Warcraft, etc., Dungeons & Dragons, there are lots of complex stats that represent how powerful a character or class is. So far, you have the stat of increased health and nothing else. The armor doesn't reduce damage, it just increases your health. Later on, that will change, I'm sure. And the difference between that crossbow in the other room that deals 46 damage but only fires 3 bolts. This is a bow and arrow that does 46 damage, and you could just keep pulling and drawing continuously. Personally, I prefer the gun holding action to line up the sight and shoot the crossbow. And I also, because of the type of headset I'm using, I lose tracking when my hand goes behind my head, so I don't like the pull action and then the bow acts up. Really fancy weapons for the archers. They tend to be shorter in length, so I don't know if that has much bearing on their ability to parry and block or reach when they attack. I do have reach issues sometimes when some of the creatures come close to me, but not close enough, so I have to step in a bit. I'm sure this would be more difficult. So, Archer, Warrior, Shop, we are done. Hopefully I'm not going through this too fast. I just really want to go kill things. So, I said to you I was going to teleport, and the teleport takes me up to that room. So I'm just going to demonstrate it. One hand, another hand, pull. Very beautiful. And we're back to my room, and this is where I get to test whether or not a warrior could equip a bow. I believe I can. Yes, I can. Alright, that has been answered. So, back to inventory, drop it on the ground. I don't want it right now. So I demonstrate the teleportation portal. Just so you know, if you have one, whenever you're in the dungeon, it will take you back here, so you don't have to get lost in the maze, fight things that have respawned, or just simply have to spend the time doing it. Another thing I want to show you is, besides the scroll, this is a IMPA, which is a sort of like an IPA beer, from the second dungeon. It will teleport you to the quest giver at the beginning of that dungeon. I like it because it's a quick one-handed drink, and you just teleport to that dungeon. It's kind of neat. The developers told me today that if I had my crossbow in one hand and then I tried to pull and draw the teleport scroll, that it would work while it was in my hand. I tested that earlier and I still can't make it work, so I have to question them on that. But they're still developing it and they'll tweak it. Maybe something along the way broke the functionality of that working. Gonna leave my little busy bedroom alone, and we are gonna go kick some ass! Excuse my language. Alright, back to the shimmers, the portals. So, the reason that we figure out to use the heart to reset a dungeon, besides the fact that when you hover on it, it says a beating heart sacrificed to reset a dungeon. Here's the heart on the paper. Grab it, hold it out. And the dungeon resets. Now, just to be clear, you do this after you've finished the dungeon or reached a point where you just feel like resetting it. When you first start the game, you go in, you don't waste your money or your time doing that. We're going to do Wyvern Scale. It's going to be a breeze because it's a bit lengthy, but I should be able to like smash through most of it with the gear I have. I'd like to get into the Caverns of Decay pretty quickly because it's an exciting dungeon and I enjoy it. Probably not doing the Eye of the Dwarves today. My goal isn't to spoil too much of the later content. Be aware that if you want to play this game for the first time by yourself and learn everything from scratch, do not watch beyond this point. It's, of course, a spoiler warning. I didn't feel like most of this was spoiler because it's just beginning content and a shop. It's not really killer story or content. In fact, in order to avoid a lot of spoilers, I am going to not touch much of the narration and spoiler content other than the first scroll, just to show you how it works. Alright, let's get all equipped here. 2 weapons, and we are at the dungeon. I gotta tell you, the first time I stepped out here, it was quite brilliant. The water animation in this game is brilliant. The portal animation is brilliant. The Unreal Engine's doing amazing things. Swaying torches, and it's amazing. If you have questions at the beginning, we'll answer them with these question marks. That's probably going to tell you this is a dungeon. That one up there tells you that little thing on the ground is a save point, and this is part of the storyline. I want you to hear the quality.
The entrance gaped like a mouth, and the Wyvern Scale Mountains rose behind it like a serpentine spine. Darkness waited, hungry, patient, eager. A glorious secret lay within, like a gleaming lure dangling over a ravening maw.
Okay, you can hear the quality of the voice acting. There's some storyline that's in there that's really good, that as you go along it tells you a bit about your character's identity because it's a bit unknown to yourself. You kind of have some sort of amnesia. You woke it up after a few thousand years. That's the impression I've had so far. And there's paper content scattered throughout the dungeon that we're not going to look at and read that gives you hints and clues to the story of the dungeon. Because there's a history to that and there's a history to you. From this point on, most of the mechanics should just be swinging. There's a silver coin there. and that's basically me hitting things and picking up things. This is a save point. Now when I die, I'll start here. Oh, here we go. Two-handed style, I'm going to cross my weapons. The reason I cross them is when he... Oh, he got me. Got me again. I'm not... Whatever. I was trying to demonstrate that crossed weapons allow to cross block multiple ways when he swings, and when he stabs through, sometimes as long as the head of your weapon intersects with the head of his weapon, just the tips touch, it kind of blocks what's happening. Also, notice the this lovely interaction here that when you smash this one together, the rocks come off it. It's a neat little particle effect. Alright, so I'm just going to berserk my way through. There we go. I know there's never anything in this pot. Nothing in that pot. There's going to be an archer coming up. I hate these guys, so I'm just going to try to take care of them. There we go. Now, I'm playing single player, as I mentioned earlier. I believe I said. And in single player, you get exclusively warrior drops in the chests and bosses. Mostly the chests, I guess. Some of the creatures drop things randomly. The higher the difficulty of the game you play, the more loot you get. And it will be exclusive to your class. If you play multiplayer, the chances of things dropping are more randomized because you have multiple classes that could join that game. So if you're looking to farm in archery gear and you're playing a warrior, you can start a multiplayer game and just not let anyone join the game. You also might get more creatures to fight because it is a multiplayer game. The way you collect loot, if it drops, is you just simply swing your weapon through it, grab it with your hand, hit it with your shield, or however you wish. I think there was something here. Yeah, some cheese, right. Alright, so you run around, you find little hidden coins in the floor, find notes that have clues, but I don't want those. I think there's some money in this one. Yep. And now we do some combat. Or not. Sometimes they don't trigger or alert to you because you're sneaking through. God, I hate these guys. You can dodge arrows. You can throw them back if they stick in you. Whatever. With a lot less accuracy and range. There we go. And of course, if you have a shield, you can block the arrows. You can, if you have a stand-up version of the game where you can move around the room just by walking, you can shimmy back and forth and reload, shoot. And sometimes, if it's a really difficult challenge and the damage is really high, I actually equipped my crossbow and my shield at the same time, fire, block things that I need to, cover most of my body. When I need to crank again, I switch it back and wind up. There's lots of ways to fight archers or things that are shooting at you from a distance. Alright, we are at the first puzzle of the game. Again, I'm going to warn you, if there is any spoilers you do not want, you should not watch any more of the video. I've shown you basic archery or ranged combat. I've shown you weapon swinging. I've shown you how to pick up stuff and shown you most of the basic operations of the shop. Everything I do from here on out is early stage game content and puzzles that will spoil your experience if you like everything virginal. Alright, now that I've explained that, I am proceeding forward. You've had enough time to stop the video. Let's have some fun. I have a hand. This glows when I reach out to it. I can turn it, and it's a blue beam. Oh look, there's a blue gem up there. It seems pretty indicative that you would try at least to spin this around so those two match up. Oh, lost tracking. Ah, there we go. Alright, another save point. Boom! Alright. Now, 2 gates that are closed. No handles. There is some text. I think it says something about Gate Master dead. If you read, you are Gate Master. Go Crawley Cave Open Gate by Blurp. I would love to meet Blurp. I haven't seen him in the game yet, but let's see. I know from experience, these guys are annoying. You can't reach them, so you need a ranged weapon. There comes another one. There we go. Skip over a lot of the bottles and things to smash. Here comes a wolf. Boom! The game actually isn't this easy. Like I mentioned earlier, using my higher level gear means that this dungeon is much easier for me and seems like a breeze. If you're playing easy, it might be almost this level, but we'll see. Nope, can't reach. Here comes another one. Alright, another little potion here. Money everywhere! Alright, let's go. Ah, he didn't die with one hit. That's awesome. He was a tough guy. Alright, if you want, throughout the dungeon, you'll see these little poppy things. And they can turn into either money or more of those bugs. Where'd he go? Ah. Oh, hello. Whoops, I hit the wall. Careful in VR, because you will punch your television if you're too close to it. Alright. There we go. All that money came from those little bubbles. So if you feel confident enough to handle all that kind of combat with all those bugs, it's a quick way to make money. Ah, you bugger. Alright. Let's try this a bit more aggressively. I think I'm being a little bit too patient. Alright, treasure chests. A nice bow for early game has just popped. Oh, someone's coming. Die. Alright. Smash your way through it. You don't have to smash it, I just like doing it. So this bow is 21 damage. Not so bad. Alright. A save point. And, oh look, a skull. What happens? Ah! Basically, it's gooey gooey spiders. Here we go. Whoa! This game is freaking creepy and awesome all at the same time. This section always made my skin crawl. You can do a bit of pustule popping there. These pustules that are blue spawn spiders that also explode when you shoot them. And you can spend as much time as you want popping those things to your gross heart content. And they scare the shit out of you when you don't expect them. Whoop, boom. Oh, he got me. So at the beginning of the game, you have something like 50 health, I think. Late game, I've come up to have 400 health. So when they hit me, I don't freak out as much. But early game, every hit really counts. And every time you see a glass vial or ceramic thing, it could turn into money. So I shot them a lot when I was in early game just to get extra cash. Of course, those things everywhere can be shot. Now, there we go. Boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah, I haven't demonstrated the eating mechanic yet, have I? So let's get some damage. Alright, you'll see I'm at 402 health out of 424. I'll eat a piece of cheese by holding it in my mouth. Sit down. And that's it. That's all it takes to eat. Alright, we are coming up into the spider area. Oh. So, you've seen some dungeon crawling, you've seen some of the content. One last warning, we are about to tackle one of the first bosses of the game. It's a tense battle, it's content that you may not want to see now. I'm about to engage, you pause the video and go away. Not you, the monster. Anyway, there are lots of spiders. You have to catch them right on the right downswing. Alright, save point. Alright, anyone that has not wanted a spoiler warning, you should be gone. Here we go. I will use my shield. So it's a pretty slow-paced monster. It's huge. It was a bit intimidating to watch. Currently, there's no sound effects to it hitting me. It is doing damage, though. Alright, here we go. Explodes to some additional monsters. Let's do healing potions. Now, we saw the food earlier. Here's the health potion. Pops me right back up. 60% of my health was more than I had lost, so it brought me to full. Alright, behind the spider are two more spiders. And lots of pustules. So if I break this, you have to be careful when you're picking this stuff up, because it will turn into a spider. Alright, grab this stuff here. Break that. A few coins. And that's just a huge surge of wealth. There's no treasure chest there, but there is one up here, I believe. I might be wrong. Oh yeah, there's a note on this corpse here if you're doing the game. Nope, no chest, just... I remember you. So, we have some food, we have a teleport scroll, which I showed you earlier, some more food, I'm not going to touch the paper, story content I don't want to spoil, and we pull this down, and this is where things go much faster, because I want to do the second dungeon. Oh, come on. Arrow, 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 arrow. Apple. Alright, I'm going to take just a brief moment to drop some stuff I don't want, because, to be honest, it's not worth that much money, and I need bag space for what's coming. Back. It's a bit of a waste of a potion, but... There we go. You'll notice that Archer's... Oh! You're a bigger guy. I forgot about you. He's one of the new monsters that came with this expansion. Alright, I'm gonna run away for a second. These arrows are getting annoying. There. Alright. So this guy was a bit bigger and tougher than the first incarnations of the goblins that we fought. And one of the reasons I ran back over there is because there is an archer up here. There we go. He drives me nuts. Some good food. And we eventually go down that way, but the official, more official first boss of the game is here. I'd like to show you this little contraption on the left. keep shooting if you stay there, so don't. Little trick. Hit that. And it disables the trap. There we go. Eggshells. Those are something new that we haven't seen yet. Or I have, but you haven't. And this leads you into this little chasm here. And when you step inside, this is when you know you're fighting a real boss. The pathway behind you is blocked. Ah! This guy shoots acid. When I get out of that acid, teleport around. And these guys shoot acid. He's standing in the acid causing damage. So, I'm not quite sure what this is all about, but you have to hit it again to kill it, which feels a little cruel. It's a beautiful, beautiful creature. And it will disappear. Left behind is its claw, which is a good early game weapon. And don't fail to notice this sparkly egg, because it is worth 300 copper to begin with. Take some money. Smash that, and here is a fancy chest. Now, there are chests in the game that have like a brown wooden exterior. These ones that look like they're metallic black metal with a golden gem on it tend to have a lot more money. So this is worth a lot of spending money after the first boss. Everything beyond here is just a dead end. A couple spiders. And some food. Sometimes you just have to swing behind your head. There's a goblet, there's food. I'm going to drop most of this later. Speed a little faster. So we go back out to the trap. We pass it. And we were on the bridge. And there was this fork to the left. This is the way we want to go. Oh look, some spiders. These ones will pop whether you want them to or not. So get ready to fight them. Let's watch this. Oh, we got 3 guys coming. I kind of do this weird action like this sometimes, but they tend to block quite well, these guys. So sometimes it's better to have a shield and catch them right after they swing. Because I find just swinging randomly, they just block everything. There we go. Sometimes the shield's the best way to grab everything. It's just such a wide area covered. Alright, here we go. These guys with the glowing pustules on their back are a bit tougher. When they have a shield on, they're not so bad because they only do a little bit of damage. Alright, I want to explain a little better. So as far as I can tell, these guys with the pustules, the glowing parts, it's a twitching corpse, the glowing stuff tends to be their weak spot. And they take more damage when you hit there. That's why they carry the shield on that side. When they have 2 weapons, they can be a bit more damage dealing, and especially if the weapons are on fire, do not engage without a shield. At least that's my experience. I'm going to go left first, because I know it's over here. He swings, counter swing. That's usually the fastest way. It's a slow and steady kind of battle. It's predictable. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. Num-nums. So you'll observe all these little apple cores lying around. And he's asking for num-nums. I have an apple. Hold it out to him. And he spits it back out at you. Pardon me for the coughing. My inventory is full. gonna drop some stuff here. Maybe I gotta pick those up. Those are valuable. Drop some cheese. Drop some fish. Have all the num-nums, guy. I'll even drop the goblet. Alright, gonna go through this door. It brings me to this little secret area that if he didn't open it, I wouldn't have access to this potion, that good food, that potion, that skull, and some story content, which I won't spoil for you. And I know from experience there's only one guy down here. This is content we'll experience later. And if he happened to drop some coins, because there's currently no path accessible, those coins would fly up in the middle of this bridge. So basically, if a character dies and you have a line that can be drawn between you and them through various archways and doors, the coin would stay down there. But if they're, say, up on a ledge or down below and there's a gateway or a door closed between us, the money will fly to you and you can access it. Have a good one, guy. Alright. Sometimes people spawn after you've gone through certain content or unlock certain content. And here's the save point. I am going to kill that thing. I'm going to show you one of the tactics that I employ when I know that there's going to be a heated range battle. Above me is a gate, a portcullis right there. There's another one over there. This is a trap, just to warn you, because it sucks. It happens every time you respawn into the dungeon, even if you haven't reset it. And if you've died, this resets as well. So, there's going to be a mage up on the right, the gate's going to drop, and 2 archers on the other side. Here we go. So I kill him. Now that was a lot less painful because I had the shield to absorb a lot of those arrows, not sticking out of my body and in my way. And to get out of the trap, you hit that target. Alright, stealth kills. We've not covered those yet. These guys are going to come and aggro in a moment, but I'm going to try to stealth kill this guy. He doesn't aggro, but if I get him in the head... Oh, never mind. A stealth kill is when you hit someone by range. Sometimes arrows don't trigger their attention, but that one did. If you hit them in the head, it will kill them instantly. You don't have to do multiple hits. Even with your lowest powered weapon, it will instantly kill them. Oh. How to aggro you guys? There we go. Whee! Money everywhere! Alright, here we go. This is going to be a demonstration of damage being dealt to me by someone with flaming weapons. So this is one of the lower level goblins that have 2 fiery weapons. He has a little bit of a different face paint and coloring. And I am at 424 full health. Watch how quickly it drops. 20. Wants another 20. That's pretty much 18 damage. 1 or 2 hits would kill you at first level. He blocks quite well. Also, I didn't demonstrate earlier. They swing sometimes high and low. And this guy swings faster. So he did a backhand there. Did a low stab there. Backhand there. Overhand there. And he can block quite well. There we go. So he took me almost down to half health as a high level character in all that time. So those are the ones that you have to be cautious about. In this room, 2 chests. We have another bow and a fairly decent glove. In terms of farming efficiency, there are items. You noticed when I was dropping some things earlier, some of them I was concerned about what they were worth. So the shoes, when you hover over it, sells for 7. One of the items, see now I have 2 of them. That was 14. It takes 1 inventory slot, but sells for 14. Whereas this takes 1 inventory slot, and I only have 1 of them, and it sells for 20. So if I had 3 shoes, which would be 21, or 1 piece of gold, I would keep the 3 shoes because it would sell for more than the 1 piece of gold. I'm going to drop that for now. Maybe I'll come back later for it. Silver plate sells for 14. This egg sells for 375. This bow sells for 72. I'd rather keep the 72 for now. Glove sells for 31. That's if you're going to go. We need this key. It will open something later on. All the gems tend to turn into cash right away, so you don't have to worry about that. Shoot ceramics. And I'm going to leave the rest of that because I want to push through the dungeon. Alright, 2 archers have spawned after I've killed that guy. Be aware. There we go. Most things alert you when you first walk in the room. Glowing. There's a key lock here. There's a save point. Way the way is blocked. Just a little merciless killing. And the way to the left is what it is. Now, here we begin to see a lot of significant dwarf artwork. I think there might have been some before, but I wasn't noticing it. Here's a stealth kill. Stealth kill. Headshot, essentially. There's some guys over here. Now, when you start the game and you're in the opening bedroom, you find a really interesting crystal. And that becomes important because it fits in that dwarf's head. I can't show that to you because you can only do it the one time and get what's behind that door one time for the quest that the keeper gives you. In fact, a lot of the quest items won't show up in this area. Sorry about the interruption. Neat little trick sometimes. If you're not sure how to open something but you are curious what's behind it, if you're standing up in a VR space, you can get as close as possible. And then if you really want to see behind the wall, ooh. Now I can't interact with these items as long as it's locked. But that's how much money is behind there. There's a quest item and usually something like a good ring. Or that might be behind the next wall that comes up. Alright, here we go. Alright, not going to worry too much here. Mage up there. We're going to go down and do some Ginsu spiders. Alright, lots of money. Now, we need this. This is a portcullis key, I believe. Chest. Ooh. I've seen one of these drop before. It's a different type of weapon. It's new to the game. When your inventory is full, that's the sound it makes. Hey. Drop that. Do some extra damage because why not? And grab that. It will sell for 197, more than the bow, so that's nice. And let's just see what it looks like. There, that has more range. Hit things from farther away, I think. Yep, I can touch it with the tip. That means it's at full range. Cool. Alright. Well, I'll put back my better weapon because I don't want to waste too much time. Now, this is a slightly lighter color. It has a clear door frame. As you may have just noticed, you can knock arrows out of the air with your bow if you're, or your weapons if you're good. That was completely a fluke. But this is a secret door. You can even see the light behind. It's not too obvious. And sometimes the way they are with these secret doors is you really have to look around and find the button. What we have here is a magic ring and a bunch of potions and money and other things. I need that potion. What do I want to drop? I'm going to temporarily drop the ring. Touch the potion. Put the potion in the active slot. Grab the ring again. It's at this point in the dungeon where if I wanted to sell my stuff, I would teleport back to town. Whoa. Hello. And sell things and then come back in. Oop. Try to do a stealth kill. I don't think you can with these guys. Other portcullis key, inventory full, damn it. I'm gonna drop what sells for the least. Probably the bow. Drop the skulls. There we go. Grab that. Grab the money. Ignore the rest. Ooh, that probably will sell for a bit. There's only 2 pieces of food here, but I want it. But I'll come back for it later. Let's see how good that gear was. That is a helmet that gives you 59 health. That's not too bad. It already got better. It was the one in the store that sold for 88, so. Alright. A little bit of money here. Alright. Those 2 portcullis keys I was talking about. Got one there. They are specific to which side. The door opens and the fire begins. Get your way through here. Stealth kill because he wasn't paying attention. Alright, save point. This is gonna technically turn into the next battle. Our boss battle. It's even the last one. This battle, I tend to not like these 2 archers. I tend to ignore them. I hide behind here, and I shoot the boss and let him come to me. There should be a wolf with him too. Oh, I did enough damage. Usually he's a lot more ferocious, but I guess gear is overkill. Sorry about that. Made it less exciting. Now, if you want to go through the room without dealing with those archers, because trust me, it's a real pain, you probably just want to keep your shield up and run really fast. So I come over here, I say, oh look, there's some money, I teleport, oh some money, teleport, oh look, there's a potion, there's a skull, let's look behind, there's money on top, I don't want to touch that, oh, more money, and then this fancy chest, you hit it, grab everything you can by holding your weapon, you run away, and then this is a bit fast because I hate those arrows. There's not much over here. You must stop and appreciate the roasting goblin for whatever reason. Alright. There's a save point, and we have gotten away from those annoying archers. And earlier in the game, when we gave the guy the Num Num apple, we were up on that bridge. We killed the guy over here. There should be another one now. He got alerted. There we go. Here we go. This is pretty much the end of the game, the first dungeon. We have a few things to get here. Stealth kill. Stealth kill. In terms of economic benefit, this room is pretty interesting because there is some information, but this is Truffle's Collar. And Truffle's collar is good for selling so far, has no functional purpose, but there is a Truffles that shows up in the next dungeon. I've tried giving it to him, it does nothing, it just happens to used to belong to him. Go over here, grab some money, and we are pretty much done the first dungeon, I think. So much things. I got the food here. No, inventory full. There'll be an archer to my left. And we are at the end. To enjoy this dungeon fully, you must stop and listen to all the content, explore all the readings, and really struggle with it with the appropriate level gear. The first thing I've learned since running it through with all this overpowered gear is that other than talking to you, it might not have been as fun just overkilling everything. I'd rather create a new character and do this content again from scratch. I think the second dungeon will always be a fun challenge, and the third one is really difficult. Here we go. Into dungeon number 2.
Though their journey had barely reached its infancy, Lady Death would soon detect something amiss. Soon she would recognize the signature of his magic. Soon she would realize what he had done.
I hope you enjoyed the beginner tutorial and the first dungeon run through. I will create a separate video for the second dungeon so that no recently added content is spoiled. Here we go. I'm not going to look any other direction and spoil any content.